let's not forget, lockdown Bruno, even though he's... Anyway.
I think Van Dijk and Vidic should be in the same bracket.
I agree.
Did slip up a bit there?
No, I don't.
So just relax.
£220 million spent on
this is what you've
Enzo
done to
and
Ukraine
Mudryk,
Bolt.
and it's been nearly a full calendar year, and I'm not seeing anything on the return.
Hi, welcome along to DR Sports. Of course, it is the January transfer window. And I want to ask the guys, what's been your best and worst signing of a January transfer window? First thing I want you guys to do is to let us know what your top 5 best signings have been of the January transfer window. Ladies first. Let's start with you, Abby.
Matisse then.
So you got? Who you
I've gone Virgil van Dijk for me.
All right. Who's second on your list?
Suarez.
Vamos.
Strong Liverpool contingency up
Third.
top. I've gone Nemanja Vidic, who's probably one of my all-time favourite
Stroke
Premier
Cahill.
League. Yeah, Gary Cahill was a very good shout. I sold it off Matisse
Okay.
because I remembered what a great signing he was for Chelsea. Then I put Jermaine Defoe because obviously I think Jermaine Defoe is one of my favourite ever players as well. Was buzzing when we bought him back. He should never have been sold in the first place. I had tears. And then I have put Aubameyang there because I remember being extremely upset when you signed him.
Okay. What have you got?
I've gone Virgil van Dijk. I've gone Luis Suarez. I've gone Cahill and Vidic. I think maybe there's an argument to say Vidic because of his trophies, but Cahill also Champions League winner. Captain
Won
in
everything.
the final, right, as well.
Won
because
everything,
Terry
yeah.
was out. So that's a toss-up for third. Aubameyang. Going Bruno. Let's not forget, lockdown Bruno, even though he's... Anyway, he's top 5. But I've got some notable mentions. I've got Kieran Trippier.
All right, we'll get back to your
Okay,
notable
we'll go
mentions. Let's go.
This is not in order. Just top 5.
Your top 5.
Suarez, one of the best Premier League players to hit the league, even in a short space. Vidic, goes without saying, incredible centre-back, one of the best as well. Cahill won everything, and for a very cheap fee, I think it was about 7 million
Bolton,
he signed
right?
from Bolton. Unbelievable, captained the club, won every trophy. Van Dijk's on there, obviously, again, one of the best centre-backs to grace the league.
He's the best out of, not just on there.
It's my list. Yeah. And Matic is making it. I know we've got shouts for other players, but Matic also won 2 Premier League titles and was vital in those as well.
I always forget that he
played
played
next
for
to
Chelsea.
Kante and Fabregas, 2 different partners and 2 titles. So unbelievable.
Okay, mine in no particular order as well. I've got Vidic on there as well. I think he was it would speak for himself on what he did. Virgil van Dijk transformed Liverpool, made them win the title, was the key cog in
And
that.
everything else.
Aubameyang, I'm glad she mentioned that, but Aubameyang, you know, I mean, he came in at a time when we were really down in the dumps, brought a lot of excitement to the team, drove us on to win
Quickest
the
to 50
the FA
league
Cup,
goals for
scored
Arsenal.
goals for fun. Suarez as well, Luis Suarez was an unbelievable
Is that
player.
Dennis Suarez or?
The word Dennis Suarez, for sure. We're going to get to the worst. Dennis Suarez would be in that. It weren't Dennis Suarez. Martin Odegaard, I thought, you know what I mean, put a mention in for him, you know what I mean. He came in on loan initially, done really, really well, become the captain of Arsenal, helped to push them towards a title charge, and he's still doing his business. I thought, it's my list.
I love him, man.
Thought of throwing
He's up there.
Martin Odegaard. Out of all these names, who would you say is the best? Out of all the names that we've mentioned,
Player for player.
the
Van
best, pound for pound,
Van Dijk.
player for player,
Van Dijk.
the best signing of a January transfer window ever in the Premier League.
If you're talking about on ability, Suarez is ridiculous. Like, unbelievable. This guy was just technically clear of everyone. Like, obviously we had Hazard and we had other players as well, but he was like...
He's like nothing we'd
he
ever
was just
seen.
so good, man. And look what he did at Barcelona afterwards as well with Messi and Neymar. So, for me, in terms of a player, I'm saying Suarez. Suarez is the most exciting, Suarez. But Van Dijk's very close as well.
I think also you have to put Vidic in that bracket.
Yeah, I think Van Dijk and Vidic should be in the same bracket.
I agree.
100%. I don't think one should be
fair.
too clear of the other.
I think I might put, though, Van Dijk ahead of him. And the reason why I give you that, I'd say that, right, is that I just feel that United already had a great side. didn't
Rio
they?
was there.
They already had Rio Ferdinand there, really had a really... Whereas with Liverpool, that was like an emerging side. And then he came in.
And Alisson.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Alisson as well.
He was in
but
the summer.
But he came in January and he just transformed.
They levelled up, yeah.
They
Man
leveled
United went-
right up. They went to a complete next level with Van Dijk.
Man United had gone 3 years without a title, I think, before Vidic, though. 2 Chelsea ones, an Arsenal one as well, with the Invincibles. So Vidic made a massive difference to Manchester
is my favourite
United.
defender.
And he was captain as
And
well.
I guess
More than
Vidic
anything.
wasn't. You could argue that Vidic.
And he wasn't as
He
expensive.
He was known as well.
And he wasn't as expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Whereas,
was cheap.
Van
Nowhere
Dijk
near
did
as
cost
expensive.
£75 million.
Yeah.
He did, but it's not. No one has ever looked at that and think, oh, he overpaid.
No,
for
no.
Van
No.
Dijk. It was like you said, pound for pound. A couple notable mentions: Kieran Trippier, Atletico de Madrid to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Coutinho coming to Liverpool. We'll speak about the worst Januaries
Is that for
after.
Inter?
Coming to from Inter, 8.5 mil. Andy Cole, Newcastle to Man United.
Yeah, man.
Shout.
Yeah,
And
shout,
Seamus
shout.
Coleman. I'm going to chuck him in. Bought from Sligo in Ireland.
Sligo
for like
Rovers, was it?
50 grand.
Yeah.
And he's still there now.
Yeah, it's
but that
mad
was
he's
like
still there.
12 years ago.
Crazy.
So talk about
Was he
pound
gone
for
back there?
pound. No, he's
still there.
he's still at Everton.
Oh, yeah.
Captain.
Jeez, does he even play?
He's had some really bad
Yeah,
injuries.
he-
A couple others as well. Patrice Evra.
Mad
You
shout
mentioned as
Yeah.
well Bruno Fernandes.
Monaco.
He was a great. He did come in, and for a time he looked
what I
like
said.
Everest
he was
should
going to
be on that list of
transform.
top 5, really.
Edin Dzeko, Wolfsburg,
Yeah,
£27 million went
We all
into
like sleep
Man
on the
City.
Dzeko. He was so
27.
good for City.
Yeah.
No, he was. He would start for most clubs now.
And last
Lack of
season,
strikers.
Julian Alvarez, or the season before, Julian Alvarez when he came. I mean,
I can't do last year's
didn't
because there's
jump
not enough
straight
time.
in.
Not
Yeah,
enough time.
I
on the
could
clock.
say Luis Diaz, but there's not been enough
So,
time.
so I feel like it's fair to say anyone that come in or went out last year, it's a bit too early to
Yeah.
be saying
Yeah,
that they're
he
in
was
the
Apart,
2022.
apart from
anybody who's agenda driven, of course, potentially.
Well, we'll get to the worst.
what's the worst?
Oh, here we are.
So we agreeing on who we agreeing on for the best?
It's Van
I
Dijk.
think probably I would rather go with Van Dijk.
I'll go Van Dijk.
I think it's Van Dijk and Suarez too, and then the rest kind of you can argue.
But I would
between
also put
Bruno
Vidic.
and-
Vidic.
Because Van Dijk
Vidic
costs so
slash
much,
Van Dijk.
I'm
Yeah.
going to go Suarez.
You know, Suarez.
22 mil.
Yeah,
I think.
No,
ridiculous.
Suarez, but he
Suarez.
didn't win the title. But
He didn't, but
he should really have won
Bro.
the title.
he's one of the greatest players.
If he didn't bite Ivanovic, we would
Slipped
have
up a bit. Yeah.
we would have had him for the
Ivanovic
first
was
7 games
not
of
great.
the.
Innit?
I don't want to
season.
separate Van Dijk and
Did
Vidic.
slip up a bit there.
No,
yeah,
I don't.
Oh,
So-
just relax.
Love Ivanovic.
Yeah.
Had to
They
get
didn't
it.
even clock.
Had to get it. in.
Fucking great player.
He didn't
he
slip.
was. Ivanovic.
All right, so we're going Van Dijk, but what are you guys going out there? Who do you think's been the greatest ever January signing in the Premier League? We've gone Van Dijk just, but what do you think it is? I want to ask you guys, who's been the worst?
Liverpool up there again.
There's a few. I can nominate Kim Kallstrom. When he came from Sparta Moscow, he was
Broke his
absolutely
back.
broke
was
his back.
proper
Didn't even,
random.
weren't even
Didn't-
available to play.
Didn't have high
But-
expectations though.
but he did
Final.
actually score a goal in a penalty shootout. For
Did,
us,
in the FA Cup final?
Yeah. So
Oh, tight.
there's also, like you said earlier, Denis Suarez came from
Oh yeah.
Came with
Barcelona.
promise though. Came with promise.
These guys aren't high
High money.
He was just a little La Masia kind
Big
of.
name.
We
Yeah,
don't
he-
even care.
For
if
me,
he leaves,
it's
you know what I mean?
easy.
He was awful.
Can't-
Who are you going for?
Easy for me. Sanchez. Alex Sanchez to Man United.
Ooh.
He didn't
Yeah.
do anything.
Wanted to come home after a day.
And
Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. He was one of the best players in the Premier League at Arsenal. Head and shoulders next to Hazard at times, but I'd say Hazard was better. But he was right with him. Scoring goals, wonderful little
Scored
dink
more
up
than Hazard,
at,
though.
He was so
might
good.
have, but not a
brilliant.
better player. But
More
lovely
player.
little dink over the West Ham keeper. Remember that
Yeah.
wonderful goal? He was just brilliant.
God,
He
the
was
dummy
so
shot.
Quick,
And
yeah,
then-
he was quick, strong, hard working, skill. And Man United, we didn't
He had
see
it all.
anything.
Went
We
to
didn't
Man
see,
United, they just
didn't see
drained
anything.
his
Fell
power.
apart.
Play the piano on his.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Piano.
Played
That's
that
what I'm saying.
piano,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, we were so angry with this guy when he left, man. You know what I mean? And I thought to myself he was going to go and do bits there. I thought he was going to be another Van Persie type.
Yeah, same.
And he was absolutely terrible. That's a good shout. Anybody else?
Andy Carroll.
Andy
You know
Carroll.
what? That transfer window gets
Andy
overlooked.
Carroll.
How much was that?
35
million.
million.
That was like big money at the
Yeah,
time.
Listen, right.
2011 that was.
I remember
was mad
December
money.
2010. I went to Newcastle away. We lost 3-1. Carroll scored 2 goals, and then 2 weeks later we signed him for 35. On the same day, Torres leaves to Chelsea, which is also up there, and then but we also did buy Suarez on that same day. So it's like, obviously, it's still
Torres won a
it's
Champions
up there with the worst.
Andy Carroll. was terrible.
Do you know what? He did score against
Ill-disciplined
Everton
crossing.
in the FA Cup semi-final. Scored a couple against.
Should have been a top
City.
player in it, but just
Yeah.
always injured. Rumours of
Kenny
indiscipline.
Dalglish, man, what were you thinking on that one?
What are you thinking?
But we
What
did
about
buy
you?
Suarez.
I do
so
think
shout out
we
Kenny.
have to talk about how much money was spent in last January's window by a certain club to my left.
Wow.
You know,
That's true.
All of this history
220
and
million
all of this
pounds
history,
spent
and
on
this is what you
Enzo
bring to the
and
table.
Ukraine
Mudryk,
Bolt.
and it's been nearly a full calendar year, and I'm not seeing anything on the return. So I think that we have to talk about
There's
that.
shouts, isn't there?
I think Mudryk
There's
has shown
shots.
signs of improvement
Oh,
recently.
for
if you've
what,
been
100
watching.
million pounds
He
worth?
didn't cost 100 million. He cost 62.
Okay, well, you want to
88
do your
No, that's with
amortization?
add-ons, 62.
Well, I can't even say the word that you made up.
Amortization.
Amortization.
62 million initially.
Okay, yeah. Initial and the rest?
Depends
88
if we win the
million.
Premier League,
Probably
Champions
going to
League,
go down.
add-ons.
Yeah.
And an 8-year contract.
give you money
The
back.
8-year
Enzo one.
contract. Enzo,
In hindsight.
120 million. Off the
I
back
still
of 10
rate
games.
Won about
it was-
4 games.
It's too much money for sure, but we knew that when we paid at the time. No, not many midfielders are worth 100 million. However, I still rate him very highly, and I think it's too early to be putting him into the worst ever.
I don't. It's been a
list.
full
It's
calendar
because
year.
the 3 figures, though.
Yeah, but it's too
because-
early to be putting him into the worst ever list.
It's been a full calendar year.
He's loading on that list, though.
We're
He
talking,
is
that's
loading.
fine.
we're talking
He
about
can- he
Andy
can
Carroll
load.
being the worst ever signing on 35
Yeah,
million.
because he had time to actually loads of time to
Enzo's had a
actually.
year. I've seen nothing.
Tell you
if
what,
you only want to give it a year, sure.
To be devil's advocate, you could say Felipe Coutinho to Barca was easily the worst January transfer signing of all time.
Yeah.
But it was actually our best sell of all time because we bought Alisson and Van Dijk with the money. But if we're looking at Europe, I mean, that guy has to be number 1.
Who have you gone for?
Alex Sanchez. Who have you gone for?
Worst.
Yeah, Alex
Oh,
Sanchez.
you said
yeah,
Alexis Sanchez.
Who was yours?
You know what? I'd go Alexis Sanchez as well. man.
Really?
Just
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
surprised.
Alexis Sanchez.
You didn't
You know how
say
good he
Carroll.
was?
Sanchez.
I think Sanchez was way better than Carroll.
Yeah, because Sanchez. When Sanchez went there, I was like, they bought our best player, and now he's going to take.
And
them
you
to a
got
was there-
title.
you got
him and
Mkhitaryan,
Ozil.
innit?
Yeah, we got Mkhitaryan in
It was Sanchez and Ozil's team.
Yeah, and actually Mkhitaryan was better than Sanchez. I mean, and that wasn't to say
And that's
much.
not saying much.
He was terrible, absolutely terrible. And for the expectations, for the wages he was getting, everything like that.
What was it, 350 or
How many
something?
goals did he get?
It's got to be him. He was,
Man
It's
United?
got to be less
maybe?
than 10.
he was shocking. I was thinking Torres, Fernando Torres, but he did actually.
Bro, he won
big
everything with
contribution.
Chelsea.
Yeah, he won.
He didn't
things.
play well for them
Not in the league, but Europe he did
But in
something.
Europe, he had some big moments that helped them to win the Champions League. So
That famous goal.
you gotta say
Probably
it's
worth it for that
How many
50
goals?
mil just for that goal.
I'm not even sure. So.
All right, well, listen, we're going to throw it open to you guys as well. Who has been the worst ever January transfer signing? We're all talking about the transfer window at the moment.
5 goals.
Five goals he
45.
scored. 5 goals. So who's been the worst?
mad.
Alexis Sanchez,
That's
only 5
mad.
goals from Manchester United. Went there, they thought that he was going to be the guy to take them to the title. He was horrendous. That's one candidate. But for who is your worst ever January signing? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you to AGT, to Abby, and also thank you to Matisse. Of course, we are here every Monday and Thursday with a weekend roundup and a weekend preview, so make sure you check it out. And of course, the transfer window is open. Who's coming to your team this January? Let's see.